Mental man. Still workshopping it. One
the
day.
best we got, right?
Welcome.
Episode whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
Something.
matter.
Yeah. I'm Brad.
I'm Jordan,
Yeah, Brandon.
and this is Baka.
Yeah.
We never introduced Baka.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's the one barking in the background. I thought it was Brandon, but it was actually Baka.
No, it was me.
Oh, okay.
she's half Pekingese, half Cocker Spaniel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the actual breed name of that is? That combination?
No, I don't.
We just found out probably 2 months ago. What do you think? What do you think is a guess?
What are the
Cocker
breeds
Spaniel.
again?
Pekingese and Cocker
Oh,
Spaniel.
cockapoo? No.
Close.
That's a different
Cocker
kind of dog.
Cocknese, which sounds like a little racist somehow, like Chinese, but with a cock or something.
Should we keep this part in?
Yeah. How do we cut all
We
of this?
shall.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about the masks we wear.
I'm not sure we wanted to talk about it. What we want to do and what we will do.
Did you see the new Black Mirror?
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, just the first episode.
Okay, yeah.
I watched it
yeah.
last night. That's what reminded me of the masks we wear.
How come?
Well, just I really think that could be a future. Did you saw it? Okay, you remember it,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
Like I
Common people.
see that as like being a job in the future. Like that you're doing all these like cruel, whatever, like OnlyFans for like cruelty.
Oh, that part. The dumb dummies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I just couldn't stop laughing last night because I was
Yeah.
just like, that could be a real thing. Like,
Yeah. So, Brandon, this isn't spoiling the episode at all, really, but this guy at one point he needs to make money, and so the way he does it is he joins this website called Dumb Dummies, and basically they just do really stupid stuff for money. So it's like, I'll pull my tooth out for $90. I'll
Yeah.
hit
Drink
myself in the
pee.
face. I'll drink my piss.
So YouTube.
but it's like OnlyFans meets like
So it's
destroying
like
yourself. So you get
oh,
paid.
So you'll be like, oh, I'll pull my, like you said, pull my tooth out for $50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if somebody donates it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that.
so it's like Twitch.
Twitch, but like times 10, right?
Yeah. No, I understand the concept. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
And I liked when he takes the mask off
Why?
because he's
Because it's so humiliating?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that is the internet somehow. Like that we all just want to see that. Someone being humiliated like that. And I don't know. It's shocking. It's sad.
It is
it's-
true. Sometimes you want to think you're better than that, but then you see those like women who just went into space, even though
Yeah.
they didn't go to space, they went to the very edge of space. But
Right.
anyways, and they're like, I'm an astronaut and all this. And then seeing the internet take them down is so gratifying because it's like, you people suck. And the fact that you can't see how fucked up what you did is, yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of like you can see his desperation. Like it's the only place he's got to make another form of living, right?
Yeah.
And you see it interspersed like at the beginning of the episode. His coworker is on it, and he's like watching that one guy, pull his tooth and drink pee.
Yeah.
And then if he eventually has to do it,
Yeah.
it's like the OnlyFans thing we were talking about. It's like it's the only form of like making a living at a certain point that it's like life will push you into that corner, and it's like, okay, I guess I have to flash everything and like expose everything.
It goes from drinking Peter, like, I guess I have to expose
Well, I mean,
everything.
there's some
I really
women
hope this podcast becomes successful, or else it's going. Our lives are going completely different.
Did I say anything wrong?
If this podcast isn't successful, I got some real problems coming up.
You guys are going to be seeing everything.
Yeah. So I mean, that kind of fits into the whole mask part, right?
Did you know that urine is 90% sterile?
Is it?
Yep. So you can drink it if you wanted to. And there's people who practice auto urine therapy, they call it. And they'll drink like a tablespoon of their piss every day but they think it's healthy. I don't know.
There's that one guy who, oh man, what does he do? He's like, doesn't masturbate. It's like against masturbation, about keeping your aura, like the energy force, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And drinking pee is part of that process. So he'll just share his videos every day of him drinking pee, and I guess that helps.
So he'll share the videos of him drinking piss that has absolutely nothing to do with him jerking off or not, but he just shares that also.
He shows those videos too, like
of him not jerking off. That must be good.
He has like support groups for men. Like I think it's in BC somewhere. Like you can go, and if you have problems masturbating or whatever, like he's.
Can I start an OnlyFans where I don't masturbate on camera and just
You're just sitting there,
I just sit there?
fully clothed, just like, this is me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll share his info later. Yeah. Oh, good times. So, but back to the mask part.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to say about what people show you, what they don't show you?
For sure. I think a lot of people have different aspects of their lives that they change who they are ever so slightly to fit every mold.
Yeah.
For instance, I was just writing down, it's like I'm a dad, husband, brother, worker, and friend. You made me write that down.
I did. I pointed a gun at you and I said,
and I think,
friend.
like, obviously there's intersectionality between all that. But it's funny, I always said it's really nice to talk to a therapist because they're a neutral party, because there's things you can't tell your siblings, and there's things you can't tell your parents, and there's things you can't tell your wife, or you could, but you don't want to overburden them with things. So it's nice to have somebody completely separate that you can say anything to.
Yeah. So you feel like you play many different roles in this life, right? Mm-hmm. And so in certain situations, you can and can't say certain things, right?
Yeah.
So how do you? Because when I was growing up, we would call that like Two-Face or whatever. Like that would. No, I'm just saying like that. We didn't see humans as like that. Like,
But I'm not saying I'm being like, I can't wait to stab this person in the back.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like growing up, we would have to like fit one mold of a person. And if you went outside of that, you would be seen as like, oh, that person's not being themselves or whatever.
I don't think that that's true at all.
No, growing up.
Yeah, I know.
I know things
I think
have
children
changed.
do it
For me,
too.
that's the way that I saw things, or I was around people that.
I guess so, but even as you were growing up, you would have been wearing different masks that you didn't even know because
Yeah,
that's
like how
you just
many-
naturally develop it.
Yeah, but I didn't know that at the time. Now I know. But like when you're in it, you don't
So
know.
what is your point?
I'm saying when you're growing up, you see people as one-dimensional. And if you see like they act a certain way in certain situations.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, like when you're observing a different person, you only ever see them one way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like now, as you get older, of course, you see like, okay, you're playing multiple roles, right?
It's true. You do see it with some people that you're friends with them, and then you see them with their wife or something, and they act very, very differently with their spouse.
Yeah. I think that's normal. Like, when I'm teaching class, I can't talk like we're talking, right? Like I can't talk.
But I've seen both of you with your spouses. You're the same person, but you know the kind of person I'm talking about.
Yeah, but also there's certain things that I don't talk about with Jess that we talk about. Like,
I know. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about that. You're still you're basically your authentic self. You may withhold stuff either way,
yeah,
but you're your authentic self. I'm talking about the guys who, they'll be fairly gruff around you and talk a lot of bullshit. And then with their wife, they're very like sweet. Do you know that kind of guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put on, and it's like a completely different mask.
Right.
And then they'll come to you and, you know, I don't know, let's just say something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is? Is it?
I think part of it is they think that they're, however they were raised, like they think that's being a man is talking like this and being like this, and then, but that's probably their mask. And when they're with their wife is more how they actually want to be, or vice versa. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole mask thing is interesting. What do you think?
I think it's hard because like even with us, like yeah, I'm the same person around you guys as I am with my wife, but I don't make the same jokes around my wife. I won't say a lot of the same things. So I don't know if that's wearing a mask or if that's just me filtering myself a little bit around you guys and her. But like I put on a totally different mask when I'm at work.
Yeah.
Like I'm my same person. Like I'm the same, like I'm a good person, all that stuff, but I don't swear at work. I don't, like I'm in human resources, but like I don't,
What?
I thought there was something wrong with my ear.
Oh, no.
I thought you were
No, I was
saying-
laughing because you're like, I don't swear, I'm in human resources. It'd be funny if you
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
You're like, well,
it's
you're
like-
fucking fired.
Yeah. But even like around my parents, like I don't make the same jokes to my parents, and I don't. Well, sometimes I do, I guess, but
Yeah.
there's definitely different masks. But I also like. There's also different. When I think of masking, I think of masking where it's like, if I'm depressed, you guys might not know because I'm wearing this
Yeah,
mask,
for sure. Yeah.
right? Like, I'll try and come make jokes with you guys and stuff, but like, that's all just as soon as I get in my car or whatever, it's like completely off. I don't remember what we talked about. I don't remember what we laughed about. And I've definitely gone through that with you guys and with even my wife sometimes.
Yeah.
You put on a mask trying to put on a brave face, and then,
Yeah.
right?
I think people do that all the time.
Yeah.
What's that?
People do that all the time.
Yeah.
That kind of mask. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's hard to, it's hard to control because you don't want to put, like you said, you don't want to overburden somebody. So I
Yeah.
think the mask thing is automatic.
It's like at the grocery store when the person is just, they always ask, the teller, how are you today?
Yeah.
I feel like shit, actually. I'm having a terrible day, Jan.
Yeah, you never say
You
that.
never say that.
Yeah, never.
Because what are they supposed to say?
And they're just like, get out,
Yeah.
just take the food.
They're just like, well, enjoy your groceries.
Yeah. Imagine if we all told each other how we feel and everywhere. It would be, do you think it'd be chaos or?
I think in some situations it'd be better, and I think in other situations it'd be terrible.
Yeah. Like, hi, I'm Jordan. I'm your server today. What can I get you? And you're just
Yeah, how are you
like,
guys doing today? I'm doing terrible.
Yeah. So there are certain like things where the mask can protect you, right? Like,
And you obviously, if the server asks how you're doing, you're like, well, I don't know. I feel more like my alien self again because I no longer have a belly button. And
you
maybe
wanna
like,
see it?
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
can you sign it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's one of my favorite books is called The Hero with 1,000 Faces. That's like a storytelling book
Okay.
where it talked about like how stories from all over the world are actually very similar. Stories from Africa have very similar structure and morals as like stories from Israel, and like there's a connection between all of them, but it's more about like
Dragons.
our dragons. Yeah.
Because a lot of, like almost every culture in the world that didn't have any connection to each other in any way, all wrote about dragons
Yeah.
in different forms.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense. It's like the perfect animal. They're very snake-like. They breathe fire. They are scary. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and like the hero's journey is like kind of a model that integrates all the stories into kind of like one simple formula type thing. And the way that I see it is like you go through different stages from like ignorance to enlightenment. That's
Okay.
kind of like the metaphor of the story. And you know, there are certain elements like, okay, you go to the belly of the whale, for example, which is like you go, it's like in Star Wars when Luke goes, he's like training with Yoda, and there's that one little scene where he goes into the cave and he has that lightsaber fight and he cuts it with Vader and he cuts the head off and it's him, right? So that's like the belly of the whale where you like confront yourself, like you confront your ego.
Or like in the Bible, when Jesus takes that man out of the town and then cures his blindness, he's not actually curing him from being blind. He's saying, it's like that whole, I was blind and now I see.
Right, yeah. So there are certain like ways that you let go of certain elements of your ego that you don't need anymore.
Yeah.
That would be like a changing of the mask almost. Like when you go through certain things in life and you realize, oh shit, I don't need that anymore, you know. But I think a lot of people get stuck in certain things where they're too scared to deal with the dragon, for example. Right?
Can you think of anything specifically in your life where your blindness was lifted?
Well, getting sober.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, okay, now I have to deal with my past or else it's going to consume me. And so I do need to talk about it with someone and get understanding. And that's when I really changed and let go of that. You really feel a release, like with all of these things. Like, I don't know if you went through that.
Oh yeah, big time. I was thinking something like more specific, and so I was thinking about like moving people, right? Because that's what I do. I work in the moving industry, and people will lie to you. And it took me quite a while to understand that, to be like, people will tell you what they're moving, and then the day of, they move way more stuff. So then their bill goes way up, and then they kind of attack you and they say, well, you told me it was this price and now it's this price. What's the difference here? And it's kind of like, and then you have to go through and say, like, I was very specific here, and then it's like a clicks and you're like, oh, they're lying. And you can only see it sometimes. Obviously, sometimes things just get messed up, but sometimes you can tell.
Right.
And it really sucks, actually.
Yeah. Do you have any experience with that?
With like changing of masks or like
Yeah.
becoming like seeing something.
Letting go of something you don't need, or
Not like there's not something specific. I think just growing older and just you know, you start to see like, oh, I don't need to keep this person in my life, or I don't need. It's like that whole like, you know, you go through. Not so much anymore. We go on Facebook. It's like you go through your friends list. It's like I don't need these people anymore. Like they only say happy birthday to me once a year on my page, or you know, or you go through your phone. It's like, why do I have these numbers, right? And you go through that every now and then. You kind of, but there's nothing in my life that I can think of where it's like, oh, I throw it out. It's like I don't need this anymore to make my life better or to move myself forward. I've kind of experienced it through not throwing them out, but them leaving. Right? Or it's like my grandparents passing away. That was like a big change for me, where it's like it's like a new mask. It's like, this is my life without them, who were like an integral part of my life.
yeah.
But that's not something I ever wanted to get rid of, I guess. So
Yeah, the word mask is interesting because it could also be identity, right? Like there's certain people that when their parents pass away, for example, they realize, oh shit, I'm the only one left. Like I feel alone, and they don't know how to deal with that identity change, right? So, but that's always like part of the root of life, is dealing with those identity changes, right? Like, I don't know, for me, like Beijing Film Academy, there's so many teachers that are just teaching for the respect. Like that's in,
Oh, you mean like they don't actually care about what they're teaching?
or they lost it at a certain
Or
point.
they want the prestige or whatever.
That's what that matters more than the education, right? So that's part of their identity. Whereas for me, I just didn't care about that stuff. Like
Yeah.
being that teacher, like people will say, "Oh, Laoshi in Chinese, teacher
Yeah.
in Chinese. Oh, you're a Laoshi, like you're
Those Laotians are the
prestigious,
worst.
yeah,
Yeah.
prestige, and like, oh, you have a good life, comfortable." And I'm like, I don't really define it as me. I don't really want to be defined in a way, like.
It's funny. I don't know why this popped in my head. When I was younger, and I don't know if you guys remember, but when I was a teenager, I was like very like, I only like this kind of music, and I won't listen to this kind of music, and a musician has to
remember.
write their own stuff. And anyways, I was like influenced heavily from certain people on music. And anyways, it wasn't until I got older and realized I just want to like what I want to like. And there was music back then that I liked, but I couldn't listen to it, like a Backstreet Boys song or something.
You don't like Backstreet?
No, I think they're fine now. But back in the day, I would keep telling myself I hate it until it became a reality.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I like the David Lynch method, which is like, what was the title of his book? It's like, you got to catch the fish or something. Like ideas will just come to you and you got to like catch them. So I don't want to say, oh, I don't like this or I like this. It's more about being open to whatever it is and then deciding.
Yeah.
Or else you just have a shield from the world and you can miss certain things. That's
Yeah.
at least for me. So I try. I'm never like that solid with things. I'm like that slippery fish somehow. Like I like the George Carlin method, which is like he didn't believe in sides. He was like he likes watching the freak show from the sidelines somehow, and I think I connect with that more. Like I'm more of like the voyeur watching things. Like,
Yeah.
rather than dying on a hill for something. But I guess,
I believe in that big time for
Yeah.
like politics to like not hit yourself to one side specifically because things change over time.
exactly. Like left and right when we were growing up meant something completely.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the goalposts are always moving, right?
Yeah. And we're so connected to U.S. politics, but Canadians don't even realize that our conservatives are still more left than their left politicians in the U.S. So
See, these are things I don't know about. Like, yeah, all this is new to me.
yeah.
Yeah, but good times.
Do you think, obviously, just living in China and just from some of your stories, do you think a lot of the people there are wearing masks most of the time? Almost like a happiness mask? Because it does not sound that great there.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because it's like all they know, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't know. Like a lot of people haven't left China. They haven't seen. They just see what's on their TikTok and of the outer world.
Yeah.
And then that's the reality for them, right? So if you don't know anything else, then it's hard to decide. Like,
Yeah.
okay, this is wrong or right. But I think a lot of them are just like putting up with the daily, like just getting through
Just trying to
the
survive
day.
every day,
Yeah.
so they can't even think. Yeah.
And like their expectations from their parents are just like totally high, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that involved about pleasing your family and
Yeah.
sacrificing your own needs for the greater good. But that's all changing now. That's all those values are shifting to more individuality in the younger generations.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest conflict in China now is the old and new, that kind of shifting of values.
Yeah.
There's a lot of friction between that. Like people who want to go do their thing.
Yeah.
And the family's like, no, you're going to do our thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, doesn't work. you know.
What about, is there also a shift? Because you were saying when Jess was growing up that she had to cook her own meals and stuff like that from a very young age.
Yeah.
Do you think that is a big shift in people saying, well, I want to be there for my kids. I want to raise my kids. I don't want to work 12 hours a day every day.
Yeah, I think that's happening now. It's like,
Yeah.
again, it's like China in 2001 was so different from now, right?
I mean, that's everywhere in the world, but yes.
Yeah, It's we're going through this huge global shift in
Yeah.
values, right? So it's, I think, yeah, just hearing some of the stories from her family, like the older generation, like, ooh, there's one lady who was like sold, like the one family sold her to the other family, and like she's gotta like live with that family, and then she hated that family, but you're stuck there.
Was that because of the whole one child thing and they wanted to have another child or something?
No, that's the way it worked at that time, like in the 30s, 40s and stuff.
Jeez.
And yeah.
Oh, is the 30s when they had the famine? I don't remember.
No, they had a famine in the 60s.
It was the 60s?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're in Mao's reign.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the timeline for that.
Allegedly. Yeah, I like to preface it with allegedly sometimes. And yeah, I mean, even just because, Jess studied psychology in China.
I did not know that.
Okay, yeah. She got her master's degree over COVID with a school in San Francisco. And they partnered with school in China. So she was learning all this stuff from the old ages, like the tying the feet together. Do you know about that?
Tying the feet together? No.
Yeah, in ancient times, that's the way. A lot of people don't know what the reason is, but they would tie the feet together to make it like smaller or whatever. Then they would have to wear certain shoes.
Oh,
you
you're talking
mean
about like binding the
Binding
feet.
the
Binding.
feet. Oh.
Yeah.
But the real reason? It's a fetish. It's a foot fetish to have your toes like this so that men could go in there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
I feel like I have seen that from videos I've seen online. Chinese people wearing like flip flops and their toes
Crazy, right?
like curl over the top of the flip flops, kind of thing.
Okay, I haven't seen
Anyways,
that,
yeah.
but that's what they did. That was like the thing in ancient times. So when she told me that, I was just like, what the fuck?
I mean, gotta get off somehow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's,
You like what you like.
that was the only fans for the Qing dynasty.
and then you walk in on your friend tying their wife's feet up. You're like, what are you doing there? I was like, oh, I'm getting ready to fuck her feet later. You're like, holy shit, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
Yeah. So yeah, that's stuff like that those ancient times, like you still, that it's not really a thing now, but you still see some of the older way of thinking in today's world that just doesn't work anymore, like the whole dog meat festival stuff like that.
Is that,
I think they really cut down on
something?
that. But when I first got there, it was a thing. Like you could go to a festival and have, dogs. And
Did you ever see it?
I never saw it. It's more in like the Korean area of China. There's an actual Korean area like on the border of North.
Okay, yeah.
So they have like certain minority groups there that still practice that, but it definitely cut down a lot when I was there. It became like a thing. Like, oh, we got to stop these like on the internet. Like,
Yeah.
So,
I remember seeing it on Facebook, and I think a part of my brain was just saying, this can't be real. Like, not the way that they're portraying it, because that's horrible. But
Yeah.
people do horrible things, so.
yeah.
We're kind of going through that here, though. As far as like the old way and the new way, like the whole
Yeah.
thing with like gay marriage, like you had mentioned with,
Yeah.
that's still a relatively new thing. And
Right.
there's so many people that are against it because of the old way or the whole transgender thing. And
I feel
all that
that's the
stuff. Like,
problem
it's
is people lump everything together.
yeah.
They're like, oh, it's not just gay marriage. It's actually this also.
whole-
Yeah.
The whole LGBTQ plus thing That's such a new way, and like the old way of thinking is pushing against it. And I think that's like it's hard to I feel like tell people who are in that old mind frame to adapt to this new world we live in. And so they fight against it so much that it comes across, maybe if it's not hateful, it comes across so hateful.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem today, because people, like a lot of the young men,
Yeah.
they're seeing this older generation and like, oh, that makes sense. Transgender people are weird. So then it's like they start listening to this old way of thinking and that's why it never goes away. So
I do think a lot more people now are taking a lot more harder stances on things too, which I think are good. You see a lot of people cutting off family members and stuff who are toxic and saying like, I'm taking a stand. Like, I don't have to have this in my life. Or, you know, for instance, if I told my dad, I won't vote for Polyev because he voted against marriage, I'm taking a stand on that. I don't care about the rest. Like, I will vote for anybody else but that because of this. He would never understand it. He'd be like, well, what about the economy? What about it? What about people?
Yeah.
You know?
It's also how we see people too, right? Like you start, at least when I was growing up, somehow I saw them more as like, not as, I don't know, it's like Michael Jackson, right? You see him as like the guy, but then you don't see the behind the scenes stuff, right? And then when you find out the behind the scenes stuff, it's like,
should I still like his music?
exactly, yeah. Like it's hard to like, I never really saw people as like that three-dimensional aspect growing up.
It's weird seeing behind the mask that you know.
Yeah, exactly. There's what you've seen, what you think you know versus what actually happens. Like you see Diddy growing up, like
Yeah, he's like, oh,
I bought his album when I was like, I don't know, 14, 15,
Yeah.
the one with yeah.
Notorious
At least
B.I.G.
it
or Mace.
seems like there's
Yeah.
hard evidence against him, so you can get behind hating him and stuff. You see somebody like Kevin Spacey, he went to court like 9 times or something, and there wasn't enough evidence against him, so
Yeah.
he was, you know, off the hook 9 times, and it's kind of like, so should I like him again, or was
Exactly,
there
yeah.
so much there
Right.
that he must have done it, but he wasn't found guilty?
Yeah.
So
So is he
Yeah.
allowed? Yeah. So that's the,
Yeah, you see him like on podcasts talking about how he's like broke now and stuff. It's like,
yeah.
well, if he wasn't convicted, and it's like, why don't people hire him? It's like,
Yeah.
why isn't he getting work? And
that
I
makes
know,
me.
it's weird
yeah.
because like not to get super political, like Trump was convicted, they have proof, and he was elected.
Yeah.
So it's like, but why won't Kevin Spacey? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying Kevin Spacey's a good guy. I'm not defending Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey. It's just there's just that weird.
It is a weird
It's
thing,
a weird thing.
yeah.
Even Michael Jackson, nothing was ever officially proven. Nothing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
But nothing's ever come out saying he did it.
Yeah, I think he went to court twice, didn't he?
I don't know. I lost
Michael Jackson?
track.
Yeah. He definitely went. I remember
Didn't
one
he
time
settle-
for sure.
Didn't he settle out of court once?
I don't know.
Whenever I hear settle out of court, part of me thinks that you're just guilty. You're just paying
Some of
off.
it, though, I know they settle out of court because to speed it up. Because, you know, especially if it's a civil suit, they can drag that on. And with your lawyer fees and everything, then they'll just say, just settle it. And then you don't even have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, again, when do we forgive? When do we allow them back? Like which mask?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I feel like it's not on us to decide anymore. It's on what society decides. It's like, if they start hiring Kevin Spacey again, it's like, oh, I can like Kevin Spacey again because society says I can. No matter how much we personally feel, if I come out and say, oh, I really support Kevin Spacey, I'm going to get a bunch of people being like, the fuck's wrong with you? He raped a young boy or whatever. And I'm like, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, once society starts saying, then it's like, so you have to wear, I guess you have to wear a mask. So it's like,
Allegedly
I can only-
raped a young boy, yeah.
It's like, I can only like certain things, like you said, growing up with music. It's like, yeah, it's like I hate the Backstreet Boys, but you go home, go in your room, it's like I'm gonna listen to some Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, and you know they were exploited behind the scenes, right? But the whole thing,
The
right?
whole
And
Lou-
NSYNC and like
yeah.
and like they
Good
were
documentary. That was a good documentary.
Yeah, that was a good one. But it's like, okay, but you still like the music, right? But you know that it destroyed a lot of their mental
Destroy their
health.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's one, or I've seen part of a documentary on the Spice Girls, and I can't remember, their manager also was like scummy. And at the like height of their fame, they were performing all the time. Like barely had days off, because if they weren't performing, they were doing autographs and they were doing all this because, you know, their manager knew this is the time for me to make my money.
Yeah. But yeah, getting back to that, it's like when we were growing up, we didn't see that. We saw the thing at the front. Like,
Yep.
It all came out after.
it all came out
But,
after.
and
like,
now it's all coming out in real time.
everyone has a phone now, and
Yeah.
then they can document all these things. And
You know
like,
what? The biggest one for me was Chris Brown, because like
Yeah, how does he get forgiven?
But,
I
like,
don't
yeah,
understand that.
right?
It
He was
blows
super
my
forgiving.
mind.
And I'm like, I liked his music, and that
what
I
did
still,
he do? I don't
He
know.
beat Rihanna, and he beat other women too. After
He
there was
did,
a
yeah.
multiple thing, and it was like, it's like, yeah, he did it. There's proof he was whatever, and it's like, oh no, he's still
He's still
super
performing. Yeah.
But he has like 15 kids now or something, right?
I think you're thinking of Nick Cannon.
Oh, Nick Cannon. Okay, yeah, that's Chris
Yeah.
Brown. Okay,
But then there's guys like R. Kelly,
right.
who's
I mean, that guy's a
shit.
pedophile, though.
Yeah, pedophile,
Yeah.
proven piece of shit. Some of his music I still like. Like, it's catchy.
Yeah.
But I'm not going around like I support R. Kelly, but
Yeah, it feels like, like
Trapped in
especially
the-
R. Kelly, it feels like you just can't listen to it anymore.
yeah.
you
But
know?
Trapped in the Closet is a classic.
Trapped in the Closet is
is the
a
best
masterpiece,
hip opera.
but yeah, it has to just be.
We should
it
do an
has to go in the
episode
closet.
where we watch it together.
But yeah, but that's the thing. It's like R. Kelly had some good hits, but like he's a piece of shit. Like I don't support R. Kelly at all.
Oh, that guy, you know that song? It's on like Jock Jams. I think it's the one. I can't remember how it is. It's mostly just music and I think they just say
Yeah.
like, "Hey."
Yeah.
I think it's that song. Anyways, it's one of those songs on Jock Jams. It was like a massive, massive song. If you heard it, you'd be like, "Oh man!" And it turns out the lead singer was a pedophile and like
Yeah.
really, really nasty. And so they stopped playing it on the radio like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that was most of human history, right? Like the people in power were just like
Yeah.
All-
1300s or whatever. Like if you have some form of power, you're gonna use it, right? But it's just now that you can be exposed for it, then people start to think otherwise, right? Because
Well, like-
you could get away with it for so long, right? That was the part. Because you could do something and not get punished for it.
You're still gonna watch a movie that you like that like Harvey Weinstein was behind. You're
Right.
still gonna watch that movie,
True,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein was a huge piece of shit.
Yeah, but he
Like,
made some
but
of the
he- but
good
he made some-
films. I
like,
mean,
he
I
like-
guess the thing is that
I know
he's
not
not
that he
in
made-
it,
he
you know?
was he
He just
produced
produced it, but yeah.
Tarantino stuff.
No, but was he a producer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Matt.
what Weinstein was.
Yeah,
So
Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, like all
Never
the old, like Matt Damon's first movies, I think were all Weinstein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like God knows from, I've heard stories from both Hollywood and Chinese film industry about how it works there. Like there's a famous actress named Fan Bingbing. She was in the X-Men, one of the X-Men's.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was like, had to sleep her way up. And you hear stories about her in the industry that's just normal for actresses, right? That's the way it works. And you're like, oh, okay. But you don't know that if you're an everyday person.
Again, you don't know it until after.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if after we find out these things, that there's just a hard block of, it's hard, obviously, like Weinstein and all that,
Yeah.
of everything they've done, so that the future people will, say, okay, well, we can't have this. If there's any inkling of this, we have to cut it off.
Yeah. For sure. I think that's what, I mean, whenever something extreme happens, it always goes to the other extreme. The pendulum always swings.
Yeah.
But then you start seeing the faults of that as well. So you correct to go to the middle again. And it's always this pendulum that you're figuring out the world. And
I guess so, but in the cases we're talking about, there's no real pendulum swinging the
well,
other
the
way.
whole Me Too movement was from all that exposing, right? It went from one pendulum.
I guess, and yeah, there was an extreme of the Me Too movement
Exactly.
where it's like you're not a woman unless you're
Yeah.
born with a vagina.
Yeah. And then
But then if you're an Olympic boxer and you're born with a vagina and a uterus, I don't know how you define a woman, but I would say that's a woman. And then everyone accused you of being a man. I guess you don't remember that story.
I don't.
It was this past Olympics. There was a boxer who she has.
I know the story, I just don't know the details.
She was born a woman, and she's not transgender or anything. And she has testosterone.
She
in her
has
body.
something she has more
something.
testosterone than an average woman would.
So, but a bunch of people came out and said, "Oh, this is a transgender person in the Olympics beating up these women," and it's just like they put all this, and so people started believing it and everything, and then it finally came out. It's like no,
Yeah.
and like people had to come out and apologize, but some people are still standing by it. Like no, it's
And there were people saying the athletes need to take these blood tests. And, you know, if your testosterone is higher, blah, 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 then you can't compete. I don't know. It was all crazy.
Yeah, it's just, whatever gets the clicks, I think.
the what?
Whatever gets the clicks. Like, whatever
Oh,
gets...
whatever's like a hot topic at that time.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Oh yeah,
People
I guess
are-
that's true.
People are so opportunistic on the internet. They just want to get the attention on them, right? Because that's
Well-
more ad money and more...
Yeah, like I mean, even like the
I think all this stuff, like what people believe, there's other people who just don't believe in anything except money. Like they just want the ads.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
And they're willing to say whatever.
Oh, there is so much stuff online that's like anti-Alberta because of oil and pipelines and stuff. And so they specifically do that and they target that so that all eyes are here so that other provinces can build pipelines and do all these things. When there was that big fight in Crow's Nest Pass about coal mining, right after that, in BC, they started mapping out all this coal mining. So they're like, all eyes are over here. Let's do this over here. It's crazy. It's like, it's just, there's lies everywhere. It's insane.
Yep.
and we have to get behind the mask to find the truth, and that's the problem.
But then you don't know it
But
until...
and also you might not want to know what's behind the mask. I guess. a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
the time,
true.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Maybe you don't find out because there's so many factors behind everything, and life is way more complicated than we think.
life is definitely more complicated than we think.
Yeah. It's like you can think it's one thing, but it could be
That's like anything. Like
true.
we could leave today. I could go home like, oh, Brad was a jerk today. It's like I don't know
I
what.
say that after every podcast.
But I don't know what Brad's
see that,
going
yeah.
through. I don't know if he got into a fight with his wife this morning or something's wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, like, if Brad doesn't tell me, I don't know. I can't just assume that Brad's a jerk.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what's going on in his life.
Like, oh, he's wearing his jerk mask.
Yeah, Brad's wearing his jerk mask again.
That sounds like some sort of weird fetish. I like it.
Yeah.
But that goes back to giving everybody, I always give people the benefit of the doubt too, even when they're an asshole to me.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, they always say, just be nice to everybody.
Just be
Because you have no
nice.
idea what they're going through.
Exactly.
And it's just funny that you actually have to say it out loud, that it's not just a default to just be nice. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell when someone is not being themselves when you first meet them, right? It's like they're carrying something else. Like they're not there. They're in a different headspace, right?
yeah,
Those are the people I'm like, okay, this person needs a hug or something. Like, treat them
maybe you
better.
should gotta hold off when you first meet them, you know, but
Some of those people are like really good at masking though.
Yeah.
some people are, yeah.
Like this, like there's an, you guys know like Twitch, the guy who, the dancer.
Oh, the dancer, yeah, yeah.
He was on Ellen. He killed himself a couple years ago. So I met Twitch when we went to Vegas years ago.
One of Brandon's favorite stories.
Yes, met Twitch, and I showed a picture of this to Caitlin, and Caitlin loves Ellen, so she loved Twitch and all that stuff, right? And so, like, when he killed himself, like, Caitlin and I were both shocked. It's like, oh, he's such a happy guy. He's always smiling. He's always, and then you find out it's like, no, he had all these mental issues, all the stuff that nobody knew about. Not even his wife knew about a lot of it, and that's why he masks so much. And that's the hard. I find that the hardest thing is if it's the people who mask so well that you don't know.
Well, it's like,
And it's always at the end. It's like, oh, he killed himself. It's like I know, like I didn't know him personally, but it's like if it was like one of you guys, I'd be like, well, why didn't I see it? What didn't I see? Like, how could I have gotten behind the mask to stop it?
yeah.
I think a hard part too is that even if you did know,
Yeah.
what are you supposed to do? There's only so much you could say or do. I don't know.
I
That's
think
hard.
the only thing you can do is to let them know that you're a safe place.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if they listen to it or not, at least you kind of
You tried. You can say you tried. Yeah.
You tried. You put it out there.
Yeah, I think it's like over half of all male suicides are from men that show no signs of mental illness. It's just they get to the point where everything kind of adds up and that's their only solution. It's not like, oh, he had whatever, this mental issue or whatever. It's just like a normal person on the outside.
Well, I think a lot is financial, and they just let it build, and they don't know a way out. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think, what is it, like 80% of bankruptcies are from like a bad health, something like you can get a
in the
bill,
U.S., yeah, that
Yeah.
is, yeah.
and it's just like, it changes your life, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Whew. God, I'm depressed. What other masks do you wear?
For anybody listening who wears a mask, just know you can talk to somebody.
Well, I feel like
You
I
can
wore
talk to
one for a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
it's just, that's the way I knew how to live, like, is by avoiding and sweeping under the carpet. And one day I will get my answers. Like, if I have whatever, a big movie made, only then will I feel successful or whatever. And
Yeah.
but you gotta get comfortable with yourself without all that. Who are you without all those definitions of like being who is Brad without being a father, a husband, a friend, whatever.
A jerk.
That's kind of like what led me to Buddhism in a way. I was like, who am I without all these definitions? And I found my
I don't know why that makes me think of Zoolander. Who am I?
yeah, because like without all those definitions, what are you? Like when I meditate and I ideas come to me and then they leave, was that me? Or like am I the one that picks up those ideas? Or am I just like a vessel for ideas to flow through me?
I don't know.
Or yeah. Am I infinite compassion? Am I
That's you.
And like
Infinite compassion.
yeah, with no belly button.
Yeah.
For Brad, though, like the mask of being a father, that's not a mask anymore. Like that's permanent.
Well, I think that it's kind of like if you don't merge in some way
Yeah.
everything that you are, you're gonna have problems. Like it's too much.
You got to find a way to be a father, a husband.
You have
friend.
to, yeah, and you have to be yourself. You have to be authentic.
Do you feel like that gets more and more complicated as we age? Like there's more roles.
The more
that
masks you wear, yeah.
like,
But it shouldn't.
not everyone who becomes a father knows how to wear that mask with honor and stuff.
Well, I'm pretty
right?
sure Brad, when he first had a kid, didn't know how to wear the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know how to do anything.
How
You
did
ask
you do it?
Oh, you have to learn on your feet. Yeah.
And eventually that mask merges into who Brad is.
You suck it up and just say, that's the way a man is.
You have to kind of, navigate it all, and you have to, like I said, you have to learn on your feet. So you have to think about what kind of father you want to be, and then you have to just follow through on it. It's the only way.
Yeah.
And you have to work hard at it.
So values are super important. Like, what do you stand for, and like, what do you want your kid to?
Like, one of the biggest things is I want them to be able to talk to me about how they're feeling. And little kids have these big emotions and they don't know what to do with it. So they have lots of temper tantrums and things. And I really like when it seems like we have these little breakthroughs when they calm down and they tell me what's really bothering them.
Do you show them that by like if they're like, "Oh, daddy, what's wrong?" Do you say like, "Oh, dad's sad," or "Dad is"?
Yeah, I try to a little bit.
Like obviously,
not
you
too
don't-
much yet.
Obviously, you don't like give them all the details, but you'll like share your feelings with them.
Yeah, I'll more just say something like "Dad needs a hug" or something like that. Yeah.
Jordan needs a hug.
I don't hug people with I only hug people with belly buttons.
Yeah, I need to
tickle
touch
me.
belly buttons. It's the only. That's how humans connect. So when you no longer have one,
I'm trying to integrate this belly button less me, the mask.
You got to find a belly button like support group
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something.
it could be one of your diaries entries. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just me and this other guy. Like, what's up, bro?
When you go to AA, how there's those people who are sponsors, and you can write down you're a sponsor specifically for the belly buttonless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't gone in probably 5 weeks or so.
Oh, really? How come? I thought you went.
Well, I was in San Francisco for 2 Saturdays. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
I had the surgery, and then just haven't gone. Hopefully soon. Next week?
Do you feel it almost building up?
Because I went for probably 5 or 6 weeks in a row, and I felt that was too much.
Yeah.
So I felt like I got a lot out. But I think, yeah, I could go back again.
I think it depends on the kind of person you are too. Going and listening to the stories sometimes, you need to take a step back and
I
say,
do, yeah.
it's too much for me. Especially if you're a super empathetic person or something, you could be like, I'm taking on too much right now.
I'm very sensitive with that, so I kind of take other people's burden as mine sometimes, which
Yeah.
is not the best thing. But other people they just go to multiple meetings in one day, right? Like they have a completely different approach to it.
Yeah.
So, but for me, it's like take some time away and then go in again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good to get like recharged and to know when I need to go and when not, because it's still new to me. I just started in January, right?
Yeah.
So it's still navigating that.
And you never know. You could try a different place, a different meeting. Maybe they have a different person leading it that you like more. Or, I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of people that I meet in that one, they say this is the best one for them. A lot of them sometimes are like a little too religious-y, like
Yeah.
and there's a lot of at churches and stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, I have been thinking I would like to go to church because my dad goes every Sunday, right? I would like to go.
I guess if you want to be bored out of your mind, yeah. Listen
Wow.
to some really bad music for an hour.
I get the urge every now and then, not to go to Catholic church,
Yeah.
because I feel like Catholic is too ceremonial. But like, because I used to go to a Pentecostal church,
Okay.
and I felt like they had like the preacher had like a message, and it was like just him talking to the people. And I've always kind of wanted to go back just to see if there was anything that would inspire me. Not that I necessarily am religious, but I did like the message, I guess, a lot of the time. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird, but I do get the urge to go to church sometimes.
Yeah. Like
I want to go to the one where Evan got married. If that same priest is there, who talked like the emperor.
Oh, was that St. Andrews?
I don't know. And he was lecturing Evan before the ceremony, being
I don't
like,
remember.
because there was like a conflict of interest for the time, and he had asked Evan to change the time because they had like 2 weddings in the same day. And he's talking about not switching the time, and he's like, "It is very unfortunate that you could not change your time." And it's just like, okay, buddy.
because yeah, for me, like when I was going through, when I was going to the temple in those early days in China, like the first 7 years, I would spend like 3 or 4 months at the temple. And then I would go back to Beijing and like get more money so that I could spend the next summer. But I would always look forward to it. That's what I look forward to, like more religious stuff. That's what I was like interested in.
Do they have any Buddhist temples here?
Good question. I haven't actually
Yeah,
looked.
they do.
But I don't know if I told you, but my retirement plan is becoming a monk. When I'm like 60, 65, that's,
Move back to China, become a monk?
or India or wherever. Like, give
What we're
every,
gonna do with the podcast.
that'll be my mask. But that's always,
Podcast will be a little different in 20 years.
always been my plan.
Can you be a monk and be married?
Well, I would
You're like,
have
well,
to
me and
get-
Jess are going to have a really hard
Yeah,
conversation in
does
20
Jess
years.
know about?
Yeah, she'll listen to this episode. Oh, she knows. I mean, is it a joke or not? Who knows? But I feel like
you know. This is a mask.
George's playing the long game on a really, really deep prank.
That's our next YouTube video. It's
No,
a prank, bro.
You
I
idiots
did.
all bought it.
in like year 2 or something, I did want to become one. I told my teacher, "Can I become one for a year?" He says, "No, you have to do it for your whole life." And I said, "I can't do that." Because there was one monk, Uma Thurman's dad, he's like a Tibetan Buddhist like educator
Okay.
at Columbia. And he was a monk under the Dalai Lama. And the Dalai Lama told him, you have to be for your whole life. But he, after about a year and a half or so, said, "I can't do this anymore," and left. And he was kind of pissed, the Dalai Lama, at him. But I always wanted that approach, like just test it out for a year and see, but it goes against the rules. So I was like, okay, maybe in my senior years, that's how I retire. That's kind of like.
But what if that's your whole plan and you get there and you do it
That's-
for 2 years and you're kind of like, I can't make this commitment. This is too
what
much.
I'm worried about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I think about sometimes. I mean, I have even thought of why not just doing it now, like.
Again, can you stay married or
That's the thing. I wanted to have kids, and then when they're 18 to 20, then I'm good. That was the plan. That was literally like,
So you're gonna have kids, and when they turn 18 or 20, you're gonna be like, "See you guys."
what is it about being a monk that, like, what would you do so differently that you can't do that here and incorporate that more into your life now?
well, they have something like 200 whatever precepts that you need to follow. Like, you can't masturbate, you can't have sex, you can't. So the whole thing is like basically you're not accumulating negative karma anymore. That's like you're taking a stance and you're letting go of the world. You're not chasing anything. You don't need to lie to get money or whatever. Like you're naturally accumulating good merit
Yeah.
that you can use in this life and the next life. Because they see like that we're all on the path to enlightenment and that this life is just one of the stages, right? So that whatever you accumulate, you can use in the future as well.
Yeah.
For your whatever, gaining, cultivating positivity or whatever. So I think that would be something where you kind of let go of those masks and you become maskless. That's somehow is like a romantic thing to me. Like that's what I always wanted to be. It's like non-definable somehow. But
And then you'd be defined as a monk.
without a belly button.
Oh, is that one of the prerequisites?
That'll
yeah.
be on my tombstone. He left lighter.
Lighter or heavier? That's an empty space.
Mine was 20 pounds. I don't know. But yeah, my goal is to let go of this world. That's what I and that will be my mask.
Well, I'd like to dive into this a lot more. Well, we're at time.
Do you?
Yeah.
That could be the next episode.
Okay, we'll dive into it more next
Sure.
time. Okay.
Even though I don't know where that would go.
We'll just
Masks
start
the
with
se-
it. We'll start with it. Okay.
Masks the sequel.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. We'll see you next
Thanks,
time.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. See ya.